What is up, you guys? This is Mini Superheroes Today. And in today's video, we will be doing a showcase for all of the Star Wars Episode II Attack of the Clones characters in LEGO minifigure form. Now, the format that we're going to go through here is taking a look at each figure one by one that appeared in the film and has been released officially by LEGO. But there will be added bonuses along the way where I show you some customs I've made as well as some upgrades to existing figures. So sit back and relax and enjoy this showcase as we break down all of the LEGO Star Wars Episode II Attack of the Clones minifigures. And before we dive into the video, guys, be sure to hit like and subscribe down below. You would be surprised that a pretty big percent of you guys actually are not subscribed, even though you're coming back and watching my content pretty often, so let's just make it easier for everybody and hit subscribe. Now let's dive in. Starting off, we have Anakin Skywalker. Only makes sense to start off with him, and this figure came with the Republic gunship set from several years ago. I think that this figure is really hard to upgrade or do any customization to, just because he does look that great. Now, that version did come with a green lightsaber, so I did give him the blue one, but, you know, ideally you could give him both. In any case, it's a really, really awesome figure. You can see that you actually can change the hair around too, and he's got an angry face on the back, but with that said, that is Anakin from Episode II. Up next, we of course have Obi-Wan, who came in that same Republic gunship set that I just mentioned. This is an awesome figure, and there's a very good chance we could be getting another version of this figure and Anakin and all that with the Republic gunship that is rumored to be coming out pretty soon. Now, if you lift up his hair here, you can see on the back he does have an angry face as well, and if you don't have this figure and you want to make it, I actually would recommend using the Episode III Obi-Wan because they are incredibly similar. You're just going to need to find this long reddish hair to put on there, and it actually looks incredibly similar if you do that. So that would be my recommendation if you don't have Episode II Obi-Wan, and yeah, that's a pretty quick way to make that figure. Here we have Episode II Padme, and I'm sure you can guess what set she came in, that Republic gunship once again. I thought the claw marks on the back were very, very cool, great attention to detail, and then of course that head looks exactly like Natalie Portman. It's honestly pretty shocking to me how few LEGO Padmes exist, and this is pretty much the only one from Episode II as of this video coming out. So just to show you, you can lift up that hairpiece, and she does have a big grin on the back, but yeah, I think that this is a really awesome representation of Padme, and it just blows my mind that we really don't have any more options but this for Episode II Padme, of course, unless you want to build a custom. Here we have Senator Jar Jar Binks, and even all these years later, I don't know who ever appointed him to be a high-thinking senator, but in any case, we do have Jar Jar here. The hands and head are from Jar Jar, and then the legs and the torso, which is flipped around, are from Godric Gryffindor from the big LEGO Harry Potter Hogwarts set. Now, with that being said, I think that there are definitely some other options you could use, but based off of what I had at my disposal, that's what I think worked best. Drop a comment and let me know what you think, and in the meantime, we'll keep rolling on in chronological order of these Attack of the Clones figures. Here we have R2-D2 with a slight customization, of course that being his third leg there that allows him to pop back a little bit. This is just the standard R2-D2, nothing special, but I do like to show off this little method that you can use to give him his third leg. So you need the lipstick piece, as you can see, it's just that little lipstick piece right there. Then you need a 1x1 cheese slope in white, and then a 1x1 stud with a hole in the center. You can slide that piece in there, slide that piece in there, and then push down, and you've got R2's third leg. Something pretty easy and fun to do, and if you have that lipstick piece, it definitely makes for an awesome custom upgrade. Here we have Bail Organa, an awesome figure that I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The torso and legs are from Percival Graves. Now, obviously, this is a customized figure, so the Percival Graves is from the LEGO Harry Potter Collectible Minifigure Series 1, turning that torso around, of course, and then the hands, hair, and head are all from Bail Organa from the Tantive 4 set. So, pretty simple all around, and definitely a cool figure to add to your Attack of the Clones collection. Here we have Chancellor Palpatine. I think that this looks really, really good, especially for a purist custom representing that Episode II outfit that he wears. The legs and torso come from a Prince of Persia character named Nizam or Nizam, not exactly sure of the pronunciation, but you can see him on screen here. The head comes from Chancellor Palpatine from the LEGO Star Wars Tri-Droid set. Relatively rare figure because I just feel like a lot of people overlook that set. And then the hair comes from Captain Stacy from LEGO Marvel, but but it's come in some other places as well. So that's how to build this custom figure, and I really love the way that this one turned out. Now, this is the oldest figure in this showcase for sure, and that is Zam Wessel. Now, this is the original minifigure from Attack of the Clones all the way back in 2002. You can see that she still, of course, has a yellow head because LEGO Star Wars didn't have tan or flesh-colored heads yet, but I think that, especially for back in the day with the leg printing and everything, this is an incredible figure. Now, I've had this since I was a kid, so, you know, I've had this for the better part of my life, and I considered building a custom for this showcase, and I still may do a solo video doing a custom, but for this showcase, I wanted to show off this figure because I've always loved it. You can see on the back of the head, she does have her changeling face there, and it's just a really incredible testament to this era of LEGO Star Wars and how much detail was packed into such a simple figure. Now we're moving into the Jedi segment of this video. Here we have Jedi Master Yoda, and I know that the torso I have here is the original trilogy torso. I just don't have a, you know, modern version of this figure that reflects the way it needs to for the prequel. So with that being said, no upgrades made here. Of course, he does have a little walking stick, his lightsaber, because he hasn't lost it in the battle with Palpatine yet, but all in all, I think that this is a really awesome figure. And like I said, it's from the original trilogy, but it's close enough. Here we have Mace Windu. Now, this is the version from the Episode 3 set, Palpatine's Arrest, and I did not make any upgrades to the figure beyond what we saw in that set, because honestly, of all the Mace Windus we've gotten over the years, this one is my favorite. I think it looks a lot like Sam Jackson without going overboard in doing so, and I just think it's a really great figure, and I love the shade of purple that this lightsaber has. Just an incredible figure, and I'm so glad to include him in this showcase. Here we've got Jedi Master Mundi. I believe I got that name right, but you'll grill me in the comments if I didn't. Anyways, this is an unaltered, uncustomized version of the most recent version of this figure from LEGO Star Wars. I love that they gave him this uniquely molded headpiece to really show off how his head looks, and the torso and leg printing, the way that it, you know, just converges and everything does look absolutely fantastic. So I really love this one, and we'll keep moving on with the showcase. Here we have Plo Koon, and it kind of blows my mind that for such a recognizable, popular Jedi, we've only ever gotten him in 3 sets. Now, there are 2 different versions. The version you're looking at here has come in 2 sets, and there's another version that has a slightly different torso, and for some reason he goes for a lot of money. But in any case, it is a pretty rare figure, and the head is actually kind of like rubbery. You know, these little, I don't know what they are, these little tusks, I guess, kind of move like that, and it is a really great figure. No back printing or anything like that, because, you know, that wasn't super common at the time, but it is a very, very cool figure, and of course, he had to be included in this showcase. Here we have Agent Kolar, who has only come in 1 LEGO set ever, and that is the Palpatine's Arrest set. That set came with several Jedi, and some of them only ever appeared in that set, this being one of them. So he's a really great figure, as you can see. Of course, got that blue lightsaber. His hairpiece here, hopefully I can take that off, is actually kind of rubbery, as you can see. No printing on the back of the head, it just sits on there right like that, but this is a very cool chance to see a rare figure like this up close. Here we have a legendary character, and I really don't say that lightly. This is the Jedi Knight, aka Jedi Bob, as named by the LEGO Star Wars fandom. Now, the story behind this figure is actually pretty interesting. So he only ever appeared in 1 set, and that's the original Republic gunship from the first wave of Attack of the Clones sets all the way back in 2002. Now, of course, those sets are very rare these days, and because that was a big set that not every kid got, there aren't a ton of these floating around out there. In fact, if you go over to Bricklink, this figure is going to cost you at least $30, usually closer to $50, but it is a very sought after figure, and of course he's got that old style kind of shiny lightsaber hilt, and the idea behind it was that LEGO was just trying to give you some generic Jedi to fill out your ranks. Probably, honestly, we would have rather had, like, main character Jedi like Mace Windu or something like that, but all these years later, the fact that it's kind of turned into a meme of itself is actually pretty cool, and I'm glad to own not only this version, but I actually came across another one, so I own 2 Jedi Bobs. How cool was that? Here we have yet another rare Jedi figure, and this time it's Kit Fisto. Now, for those that don't know, he is an incredibly rare figure. He's only come in about 4 sets, if you count a magnet set being one of those. So he's very desirable, especially as one of the more recognizable Jedi. And if you buy this figure used ever, one thing you want to keep an eye out for, no pun intended, is the eyes. They can rub off very easily if they've been played with heavily, so you want to, be aware of that. In fact, years ago, my dog actually chewed on this, so you can see that, he is kind of broken up there. So my dog has since passed away, so unfortunately it's kind of a sad memory, but it's kind of a happy memory too. Anyways, that's Kit Fisto, and he's definitely a rare figure that, of course, had to be included in this showcase. Here we have Ayla Sakura, a very recognizable Jedi, of course, and she's a really, really great figure. It's another one of those scenarios where I can't believe we only have a few versions, and this version, kind of the realistic human-looking one, if you will, as opposed to the Clone Wars one, only ever came in 1 set, so it's relatively desirable. But anyways, if we move the lightsaber, you can see she does have just a little bit of leg printing there, which is nice, and of course you can lift up her headpiece. She's got kind of a fighting face on the back, so it's a really, really awesome figure, and definitely one of my favorites among the Jedi from this showcase. Here we have Sisi Tin Man, I hope I said that name right, but anyways, this is from the Palpatine's Arrest set. Now, this is another figure, if you buy it used, that you want to, keep an eye out for, because the coloring on his horns here actually does rub off if it gets played with too terribly much or just tossed in a Lego bin. In fact, if we zoom in, you can see right here where it's not really rubbing off, it's just the printing difference that you can see from the little base of the horn to the horn. The horns are just a little bit darker, so if you buy this figure used, it's just something you want to be aware of. It is a great figure nonetheless, though, and definitely a great one to help round out your Jedi roster. Now, several times in this showcase, I've mentioned, I can't believe we only got this figure in 2 sets or 3 sets. This is the one that, of all of them, I can't believe has only come out once. Shaak Ti. She's, one of the few female Jedi. She's very recognizable, of course, with the popularity of Ahsoka and those pieces being in existence again. It's just crazy to me that we've only gotten Shaak Ti once, but with that being said, here she is. She's from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Her headpiece is kind of rubbery. You can probably just see the texture in the video, to be honest, but the head printing's great, the torso printing's great. It's an awesome figure, and I'll just say it one more time, I can't believe we've only gotten one version of this figure. Here we have Barriss Offee. Now, the version we're looking at here is from the Clone Wars, but there was a legitimate Episode 2 version, which unfortunately I don't have. She actually came in a battle pack with Ki-Adi-Mundi, who we looked at earlier, so it's kind of ironic I have one figure from that set, but not the other, but hey, that's just the way it goes sometimes. So with that being said, it's a pretty simple figure. I do, not really like the Clone Wars versions as much as the regular ones, because the Clone Wars ones have the big eyes, as you see here, but it's what I've got, and that's what we're looking at today. So let's keep moving on. How about a custom? What do you think? Here we have the Jedi Librarian, who's a custom that I built. Now, I really, really doubt we'll ever get her as a minifigure, but maybe if they do like an Ultimate Collector Series Jedi Temple or something, maybe I'll be surprised. But in any case, based off of what we're looking at here, the hair and head come from Aunt May from the Lego Spider-Man line of sets. You'll want to put some tan hands on the torso from the original Ben Kenobi minifigure back from 1999 or 2000. Then the legs come from the Lego Collectible Minifigure Series Ice Fisher figure. So really, there's some, unique and rare pieces used here, but I think it all works out for the best to build this figure from Attack of the Clones. And of course, there are a few Jedi that I don't actually have. The first of which is Coleman Trevor, kind of the dinosaur rhinoceros looking guy. And he came in 1 set, so I actually don't have him. And the other Jedi that I don't have from this movie is Stas Ali, who came in 1 set only, and unfortunately, I just don't have her. There may be some other Jedi that appeared in Episode 2, but haven't come in an Episode 2 set per se, but according to Bricklink, these are the only 2 Jedi I don't actually have. Here we have Dexter Jetster, who's a really good, character in the movie. I at least find him funny, like, memeable when I see him these days, but I'm not sure I love the way this custom turned out. I'll be anxious to see what you guys think in the comments below. How I built this is I used this torso piece from Pong Krell, who's a Clone Wars character, because I'm pretty sure him and Dexter are the same alien species. And, you know, that turned out fine, I guess, but it doesn't really look like Dexter himself, you know? Like, they're the same species, but just doesn't work out. Anyways, underneath there, I used this torso from the Barista figure, so you just pop that on there. To make it look like he has an apron, I put the little hip piece on from the CMF Alfred, and then I used the Explorer's legs, I don't know, just to give him some variation, I guess. So, not my favorite character, but he is such a meme, he had to be in this video. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Here we have R4-P17, Obi-Wan's Astromech droid. Nothing much to say here. This version in particular came from the Episode 3 version of Obi-Wan Starfighter. At least that's where I got mine. And just for kicks, here's what the old one looked like. It was basically just R2-D2 with red printing, but it is pretty cool to see how far a figure like this has come. Even somebody so simplistic, don't you think? Here we have Jango Fett, who, you know, is one of the more iconic characters from this movie, and he's actually a very rare LEGO figure in just about every iteration that we've gotten him in. Now, this iteration, which I'm going to call the modern version, if you will, has come in a few different places. He's had some different heads depending on which variation you get, but I think he's a really great figure that's hard to upgrade. Speaking of hard to upgrade, here is the original Jango Fett from 2002, and honestly, this may be like my favorite minifigure ever. Indiana Jones is up there too, but the original Jango is just unreal. He's so absolutely awesome, and he only ever came in one set, so on top of being so awesome, he's super rare. Now, enough about the old Jango, because, you know, the new one definitely fits in better. He does have this antenna piece, which you can actually move down for his targeting system, which is actually quite cool. So, I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you like the old Jango better, or the new one? Here we have young Boba Fett, an absolutely awesome figure. He came in an advent calendar at one point, as well as the Obi-Wan's Hyper Ring, set from a few years back, but it's a really awesome looking figure. That face could almost work for Loki, even though, you know, it's supposed to be young Boba Fett. It does really work out great, and I love this figure. And we'll drop a Boba Fett meme in here, just because. Alright, you know we're going in chronological order, so after we meet Jango and Boba, we meet the Clone Troopers. So with that being said, these Clone Troopers are awesome. Now, I'm showing you one of the original ones here from 2002, and then this is like what they look like now. Well, there aren't any Clone Trooper sets out as of this video coming out, but more recently. You guys know what I mean. Anyways, they have definitely improved over the years, but I do still love the original appearance. I never really understood what was going on underneath the chin there, but I do think they look cool no matter what. Of course, you can lift this up, and I have Bruce Banner's head under there for some reason, but it's supposed to be a angry Clone Trooper head. I don't know why I have Banner's head under there, but I do. Alright, so what we're looking at here is a special Clone Trooper. Now, there have been many Phase 2 Clone Troopers over the years that have different colors, but unbelievably, this is actually the only one I currently have in my collection. So, what we're going to do is give you a little spin around of this, of course, and after that, we're going to do a little cutaway. My awesome assistant, Jedi, who helps me edit some of these videos, is going to show you some pictures here as I talk over them. So, we're going to look at some pictures instead of the actual figure in my collection. Alright, so thanks again to my awesome assistant Jedi for putting all this together, and with that being said, let's take a look at some Clone Troopers. Here we've got a clone pilot that came with the Republic gunship. You know, nothing too special here, he just is what he is. We have this Clone Trooper captain that also came with the gunship. That's very cool with the red design. You know, I've gotten the gunship over the years twice, and I've sold the figures both times. Kind of a bummer now that I'm putting this together. Anyways, we have a Clone Trooper commander in yellow. Very cool looking figure. We have a Clone Trooper lieutenant in blue. He was a Polybag exclusive at one point. And then there was another one very, very similar that came in an actual set at one point. But he had leg printing, the other one didn't. Some other minor changes. We do have the Sergeant, which we looked at before, which is the one with the kind of like olive green color, and that's about it for the Clone Troopers. So there was enough that we had to talk about it for sure, but, you know, not enough for me to go out and buy them, just to get a couple extra ones. So with that being said, let's keep rolling on to our next figure. It's Watto. Anyways, we do have Watto because we're getting to the Tatooine section of the video. So to build this, I just used regular old Watto and I put a bowler cap on his head, and, you know, that was that. He looks so goofy with that hat on, doesn't he? Okay, so here we're looking at C-3PO from when Anakin and Padme land on Tatooine. Now, this minifigure actually is not C-3PO, it's just a silver protocol droid, I think TC-14, but I think it actually represents C-3PO in his kind of battered up version pretty well, so it's going to make a good substitute, and that gives us C-3PO for this section of the video. Alright, here we have Owen and Beru from when they're younger on Tatooine, when Anakin and Padme meet them. You know, looking back, I think that this was such an awesome detail to include in this movie. It really ties the original trilogy and the prequels together in a fun way, and of course I had to build them for this showcase. So, starting with Beru, I just used this regular old, you know, ponytail hair, works pretty well. The face is from Anna from Frozen, from the LEGO Disney Collectible minifigure series, and then the body and legs are from old Ben Kenobi from the Obi-Wan's hut set. I think it's come in some other places, but that's where I got mine. And then for Owen, I used the hair and face, ironically, from Owen Grady from LEGO Jurassic World, but also from Star-Lord, you know, same thing for Chris Pratt there. And then the torso and legs come from the bartender from the LEGO Cantina set. Now, not the big Cantina. I actually don't know if he comes in that one too or not. This is the previous Cantina, the smaller one. But anyways, cool figures and definitely a cool inclusion into the movie and today's showcase. Here we have an interesting figure. This is Clegg Lars, who is actually Anakin's stepfather that you'll remember they meet on Tatooine when Anakin goes to look for his mom. Now, I built him in his hover chair because he kind of has like a stub leg. There's really no way to give him a stub leg in LEGO form, so I just pulled the leg off entirely. You can see that the chair is made with a 2x2 round piece, then two 1x1 studs in the center there that go in the center of the chair to hold it up and make it look like it's hovering. Then the legs are from Tasu Leech. The legs don't really matter, you know, they could be anything, but the legs are from Tasu Leech from Star Wars The Force Awakens. The torso is from a, like, rebel trooper or something like that from over the years. And then the head and hair are from the Tatooine bartender that I used on Owen in the previous segment, but I actually just noticed that this hairpiece is broken. There's supposed to be a little sideburn there, but I guess it all plays into the figure in the end. Here we have the poor sand people that Anakin completely slaughters right after he meets his aunt and uncle. Well, I guess Luke's aunt and uncle, but you know what I mean. Anyways, I included two different ones here because I've made the mistake in previous videos of saying like, oh, we've already gotten this Tuscan Raider, but there actually are some differences. Like, you can see that the legs are actually mirror images of one another, and the torsos are a little different too. So this is kind of me, you know, giving penance for messing up in previous videos. Here we have Count Dooku, who is an exceptionally rare minifigure. Even the Clone Wars version is kind of rare, but this one, obviously being the best version of Dooku LEGO has put out to date, is definitely the most desirable one. If we lift up his hair, you can see he's kind of got a sinister, evil look on this side, and then a more content look on this side. And a fun fact about him is, you know, the old LEGO lightsabers used to all have these chrome hilts like you can see here, and Count Dooku is the only figure that still gets this chrome hilt. I guess it has something to do with the molding or the design, because if you lift it up, you can see that they did give him a bent lightsaber handle, just like he has in the movie. So, I'm not really sure why he gets the chrome one, but that's always kind of been my theory, is that there's something in the mold that means it has to be chrome, or maybe it's just a nice little Easter egg to the older days of LEGO. Either way, it's a great figure, and I love this figure in my collection. Here we've got Newt Gunray, and I just used the Episode 3 version of this figure. No upgrades or changes, because, you know, while I don't know if it's 100% accurate, it's pretty dang close, and, you know, I don't really know if anybody cares that much about Newt Gunray as a custom minifigure anyway. So, there he is. Here we have Poggle the Lesser, another very rare figure who came in the, like, Yoda versus Dooku battle set. Anyways, this figure really annoys me because the head doesn't sit on there very well. You can see how loose it is and how easy it is to just, you know, take off. The wings kind of sit up at a weird angle, so I never really cared for this figure, but he was in Attack of the Clones, and I have him, so he's got to count. Here we have a Geonosian figure, and, you know, these have come in various sets over the years. Kind of got these plasticky wings. Guess everything on LEGO is plasticky, but you know what I mean. Anyways, pretty simple figure, nothing to write home about. Kind of forgettable, but again, kind of like the last figure, he's in the movie, so we gotta count him. Here we have Battle Droid C-3PO, a really funny meme character to include, and to build this, you just need the Geonosian Battle Droid body. Then I took that head from the, you know, droid we talked about earlier in this video. I took a black clip and a 1x1 stud with a hole in it, put all that together, clip that right on the body, and that's all there is to it. Pretty simple. Speaking of battle droids, let's go ahead and take a look at these guys. These are just standard battle droids, nothing too exciting about them, but of course this one is kind of that reddish color because of the Geonosian paint job that they had, or I don't even know if it'd be a paint job or what, but that's what we're looking at here, and let's keep moving on. We're almost to the end, as you know. Here we've got the light blue battle droid, who is super, super rare and only came in a couple sets. In fact, maybe only even the gunship back in 2002. So I love this figure, and they've never done him in this light blue color since then. He always comes in a dark blue color. You know, I don't really know why they do that. All I can think is that maybe this version is a little bit brittle or something, but it does look way better for the Episode 2 version, for sure. Then, of course, we do have a Droidica, and in my opinion, this is probably the best LEGO Droidica design that we've gotten to date. I just think it looks really good, really LEGO-like, and also, you know, represents the movie well. Of course, you can push those legs in and kind of fold them up into a ball, too. It's not a perfect thing, but, you know, I don't really know how they could do it perfectly. I always wondered how they moved, too, like, you know, when they scrunch up in a ball like that. I always wondered, like, you know, what momentum they give themselves. Anyways, we're not here to talk about Droidica physics. We've got one more figure, and then we're rounding out. Alright, and our last figure is C-3PO in his gold armor. For whatever reason, at the end of the movie, when Anakin and Padme get married, this is what he's wearing. He gets the gold upgrade off screen. So I just wanted to include him, and with that, let's zoom out, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this showcase. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this showcase, and if you did, be sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate your guys' support, and of course, you know Episode 3 is going to be in the works as soon as I finish filming this one. These videos take a lot of time and effort to put together, so I hope you enjoyed it, and if you can support the channel, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. If you liked what you saw and you liked what you heard, feel free to click that subscribe button for more LEGO videos coming in the near future.